She called me a coward. Not to my face, she was too sick by then for that kind of confrontation. She said it in a voicemail, 14 seconds long, and she was right. Danny and I had been friends since we were 19. We met in a shared laundry room in a building that smelled like old carpet and someone else's cooking, and by the time the dryers were done, we'd already made plans for the following Saturday. That's the kind of friendship it was. Easy. The kind where you don't have to perform. She knew when I was lying before I did. I knew her coffee order and her mother's name and every reason she'd ever given for not going to therapy, and she knew mine. We were 34 when she got the diagnosis. Ovarian cancer, stage 3. She told me over the phone on a Wednesday, and I remember I was standing in my kitchen holding a dish towel and I stopped moving. She was calm, almost eerily calm. She said, "Okay, so here's what they're thinking," like she was reading me a weather forecast. I think she was trying to make it easier for me. That should have told me everything I needed to know about what kind of person she was, and what kind of person I was. The first few months I was there, I drove her to appointments. I sat in waiting rooms with bad magazines and worse coffee, and I held her hand in the parking garage after her second round of chemo when she cried for the first time in front of me. I brought her soup she couldn't eat, and I watched shows with her that neither of us were really watching. I was there. I want you to know that. I was there. And then, slowly, so slowly I almost didn't notice it happening, I started pulling back. It started with small things, rescheduling a visit because of work, which was real, missing a call and telling myself I'd call back tomorrow, which became the day after, which became the following week. I told myself I was tired. I told myself she had other people. Her sister had moved back. Her mom was flying in every few weeks. I wasn't abandoning her, I was just stepping aside, making room. That's what I told myself on the Tuesday. I sat in my car outside her building for 20 minutes, and then drove home without going in. I still don't fully understand what happened to me. I've thought about it a lot, more than I want to. I think, and this is the part I have the hardest time saying out loud, I think I couldn't stand watching her get smaller. Not her body, though that too. I mean her world. Every time I went, there was something else she couldn't do anymore. Something else that used to be normal that had quietly disappeared. And I kept thinking about the Danny I knew, the one who laughed too loud in restaurants and had opinions about everything and would text me at midnight just to say something dumb she'd remembered. And I couldn't reconcile those two people. So I chose the easier thing. I chose distance. I told myself it was self-preservation. What it actually was abandonment. She left that voicemail on a Thursday in November. I know the date because I've looked at it so many times in my call history that the number is just part of my memory now. November 14th, 6:47 in the evening. I didn't listen to it right away. I saw her name light up my phone while I was at dinner with people from work, and I thought, I'll call her back tonight. And then tonight became the next morning, and the next morning became 2 days later when I finally sat down and pressed play. Her voice was tired, not angry, just tired in that way that exhaustion goes so deep it comes out the other side as something almost peaceful. She said, and I can recite this because I've played it enough times that it's engraved, she said, "Hey, I know you're busy. I know you've got your life. I'm not calling to make you feel bad. I wanted to hear your voice. And I think I needed to say that I miss you, and I think you're scared, and I understand that, I do. But I also think you're being a coward. And I love you. Okay, that's it." 14 seconds. I called her back that night. She didn't pick up. I called again the next morning. Her sister answered. And before she said anything, before a single word, there was this pause, just a breath, really, and I knew. Danny had died the night before, 3 hours after she left me that voicemail. She had spent some of her last hours trying to reach me, and I had looked at her name on my phone and put it face down on a dinner table. I went to the memorial. I stood in the back. Her sister saw me across the room and she didn't come over. I didn't blame her. I didn't deserve the comfort of being folded back in. I stood there and I looked at a photograph of Danny laughing at something off camera, her head thrown back, one hand raised like she was mid-sentence, and I thought about every visit I'd rescheduled, every call I'd let go to voicemail, every time I'd chosen not to sit with her in that shrinking world of hers, because it scared me. Here's the part I keep turning over, even now. I don't know if going back, if I had answered that call, if I had walked into that building on that Tuesday in September when I sat in my car and then drove away. I don't know if it would have changed anything for her. Maybe she knew I loved her. Maybe she understood, the way she always seemed to understand things about me before I understood them myself. Maybe the distance I kept didn't hollow her out the way I'm afraid it did. Or maybe she spent the last months of her life wondering why the person who knew her coffee order and her mother's name and every excuse she'd ever given for not going to therapy, why that person had quietly stopped showing up. Maybe she made peace with it. Maybe she didn't. I'll never know. And that not knowing is the thing I carry. Not the guilt exactly, though there's plenty of that. It's the permanent open question. The closed door I can't go back through. I was afraid of watching her get smaller, so I looked away. And now there's nothing left to look at. Her voicemail is still on my phone. I haven't deleted it. I don't think I ever will. I'm not asking you to absolve me. I'm not sure that's even the right frame for it. I think what I'm asking, if I'm asking anything at all, is whether you've ever chosen the easier distance. Whether you've ever looked at someone's name on your phone and put it down. Whether you know what I mean when I say that fear can look an awful lot like cruelty from the outside. I don't know what the right thing was. I think I do, actually. I think I've always known. I just couldn't make myself do it. So what would you have done? Tell me in the comments.